Hi, it's Alexis Hasselberger, time management and productivity coach. Today, I want to talk a little bit about learning new skills, especially learning new skills as an adult. So, a few months ago, I decided that I was going to restart pottery. This is something that I'd never been super involved in, but over the course of my life, I've taken pottery classes a few times, in college when I was a kid, and most recently a couple of years ago. And I took the pottery class, I had fun, and then I didn't continue on with it for a number of reasons that I won't go into right now. But I recently noticed that there was a pottery studio just a couple of blocks from my house. And I thought, maybe I'd like to do this again. And so I started. I started trying to learn pottery again, trying to do hand building and especially trying to throw pots on the wheel. And it's really hard. And it's really humbling. And I make a whole lot of crap. I make a lot of really lopsided things. My walls are not, even. They're thicker on some sides. Sometimes I don't get things exactly centered. I just produce a whole lot of not very great pottery, but I am getting better over time. And I'm getting better over time because of a couple of things. And so I want to share with you this kind of two-pronged approach to getting better at anything, because I would be willing to bet that you, kind of like me, as an adult, don't spend a whole lot of time doing things that you're not already good at, right? We tend to specialize as we become adults, and we just start doing things that we are already good at. And so when you take on something that you're not good at, whether that's something for pleasure, like I'm doing, or whether that's something that you really need to do, like maybe you need to get better at time management, productivity, et cetera, for your work or something like that, right? But when you take on something new, take on a new challenge, especially when you are not used to doing things that you are not good at, it can be hard. And it can be humbling. And so that's why I want to share with you this approach. And so the approach is really very simple. There are two things that matter when we want to get better at anything, when we want to improve our skills. The first one is practice. Without practice, we are not going to get better. We have to practice, practice, practice. The more often we practice, the better we will get. But that's not actually enough. We also need feedback on our practice. And so for me in the pottery studio right now, I am getting a lot of practice. I'm going there a few times a week. It's really close to my house, so I can go for 20 minutes or I can go for a few hours. And that's great. But if I were just practicing alone in a vacuum without any sort of feedback, my progress would be going much, much slower, because we need that additional feedback in order to change our practice so that we're moving in the right direction. So for example, when I'm at the pottery studio and I notice people who are much better than me, which is basically almost everyone at the pottery studio, right? I look at what they're doing and I watch, how are they doing the movements differently than I am? What can I learn from them? Oh, they're using that tool. How are they using it? Okay, I'm going to try that. Sometimes I ask people what they're doing and how they got better at it. I'm getting that feedback. Also, for better or for worse, TikTok seems to have learned that I am very interested in pottery. And basically, I am being served only pottery videos these days. And so I am watching a lot and getting a lot of feedback for my own practice there. But it's this twofold approach, this practice plus feedback, that makes all the difference. And I've been doing this pottery for, a couple of months now. And if I look back at the stuff I produced in those first few weeks versus the stuff that I'm producing right now, I can see progress. I can see a lot of progress. I'm still not very good. I am still not producing, stuff that I am super duper proud of, but the stuff that I'm producing now is definitely a whole lot better than the stuff I was producing a couple months ago and even a couple weeks ago, because I learn new things and I keep practicing and I keep making that feedback be a part of my practice. Now, if you think about it, think about when you were a kid and you probably participated in sports, right? You had both of those things at your disposal, right? You had practice. It's literally called practice, soccer practice, basketball practice. You went there, you practiced, but also you had a coach. And that coach was giving you micro adjustments, telling you, oh, do this, move your hand this way, or, do this in a different way. And you're taking that feedback and you're adjusting your own practice from it. It's how you got better at sports, right? And this is, I had this epiphany while I was thinking about all of this. Of this is why coaching is so effective, right? This is why the people that I work with actually, get a lot of results in the time that we work together. It's because they have these two things going on, right? They're getting practice, consistent practice, and accountability towards that practice. And they're also getting feedback from me, or in my group programs, they're getting feedback from the other people as well. They're getting feedback that is helping them to improve that practice. So whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is that you would like to improve upon. If you want to learn a new skill, maybe a scary new skill, I want you to think about these two things. How are you going to get practice? And how are you going to get feedback that informs that practice? Because with those two things, you can get better at absolutely anything. Now, if you like this kind of content and you want to make sure to keep seeing it, then please go ahead and subscribe so that I will be in your feeds every single week.